Thereafter, in 1994, we executed on our first IPO. While the IPO was successful, it opened my eyes to another opportunity. All that we had was raw enthusiasm. All that we had was a belief in ourselves. Rest is the history. My young friends, less than a decade, we were largely known as a trading house and a one-pot company. Today, we are the country's largest ports and logistics business, largest private thermal power business, largest private transmission business, largest renewable energy business, largest coal trading business, largest mining business, and largest agro business.
So now we jump into the topic again. How Adani came with the reply and succeed. So this is absolutely stunning to me that the company's statistics were improved well in last year even though there is a historic fall. Actually, their current ratio improved well in Adani companies, which improves Adani investors' confidence. So we can see that suddenly the same stocks crashed in 2023 are in high recent days. The question over here is, how did this happen? How Adani succeeded and what are his strategies? So we are going to see what Adani did well. Adani did well is deleveraging. So what is meant by deleveraging? As the stocks started tanking, the shares went down. There is a possibility that Adani getting into the vicious cycle. So listen here carefully. Let me explain. When a company pledges its share to get a loan, the share price decreases and the company gets a notice called a margin call. So to explain this margin call in simple terms, we go to previous example where TL's Enterprises is there and it has 3 million shares in the market and TL holds 40% of the shares, which means 1.2 million shares. Assume the stock price is around 600, which is worth nearly 720 million. That means 7.2 billion. So if TL gives 50 lakh shares to the bank and get 250 million as a loan from the bank, okay, and he's making 50 lakhs as a collateral, which is worth 300 million. So for example, if share goes down to 400, the collateral worth will be reduced to 200 millions. Then the bank will ask TL to pay the remaining amount of 50 million as a collateral, or bank can ask more shares. This is called margin call. So this margin call shown as a negative impact. So in this case, Adani came out of this cycle even before it is started. Instead of stuck into the vicious cycle, Adani created a virtuous cycle. When the report comes out, critics said that Adani group of companies will get a margin call and stuck into debt cycle. But surprisingly, Adani paid back the debts by pledging the shares of Adani Ports and Adani Enterprises quickly. In the month of 23 March, the Adani Group had prepaid the share-backed loans totaling 7,374 crores, even though the maturity is in April 2025. The company has been aiming to reduce promoter leverage and address the concerns of investors. The group also repaid at least 36.5 billion in total in 2023. So since Adani shares went down, before they get the margin call itself, they unpledged the shares and paid back the debts to the bank. As they paid more debt and showing transparency to the investors, the confidence of the investors went up and the cycle goes on. So also, Adani pulled back the FPO of 20,000 crores even after the FPO booked fully. So they paid the money back to the investors. This shows the investors that Adani stand by them as a union and values the money of their investors. To further regain the confidence, Adani Group brought some of the world's big players to invest in the company. Adani portfolio companies completed 15,446 crore to GQG partners, and Adani's Colombo port to get 553 million funding from USDFC, and Abu Dhabi IHC invest 400 million in Adani Enterprises FPU, and Qatar Investment Authority buy 2.7 stake of Adani's Green Energy, which is worth 3,920 crores. So when company paid the debts and bring more big names to make investment into the company, it made a headline with the positive note.
diversification, and now they are trying to script a comeback strategy. And this comeback strategy would include to cool off the investors by sending the credit report saying, or rather reiterating, they have enough cash and cash reserves to meet all this payments which is coming. And they have also said that they have prepaying someone, and they have also released some pledges to restore confidence. And they're also cutting short of the capex, and they are also lowering the revenue target from and then the almost stock markets are back into the safest territory. So they are slightly convinced, but again it's a new week, new day. One will have to wait and watch how the story is evolving, how the stocks are reacting to those ESG concern. And
So let's jump into the second topic, how Adani did come back. So Adani group of companies invested more and focusing on high margin business, they cutting down on diversification. In the past year, Adani group of companies planned to invest 7 lakh crores in infrastructure business in upcoming business year. We got two interesting factors for you. The one is the B2C infra projects, which are airports. So the Adani Enterprises, Adani group of companies, they added 19 new routes in their portfolio. 19 new routes, 9 new airlines, and 5 new flights added across all 7 airports during the quarter. And they are working on Greenfield Navy Mumbai Airport, and that project is about to complete in December 24. Which means airports is a high-end market for Adani. The next thing, which is very fascinating about Adani group of companies' businesses,
in demanding the Sterlite be shut, on the 100th day, police officials opened fire at a mob, and in the shooting, 13 people were killed. Following this, there was widespread outrage, and finally,
Adani catches a chance and building a very large factory in Mundra.
Is building the world's largest single-location copper manufacturing plant at Mundra in Gujarat. The plant will help cut India's dependence on imports and aid energy transition, as per the Adani Group.
And this factory has a capacity to deliver 5 lakhs tons of copper at a cost of $1.2 billion. So this is one of the reasons India can again become exporter of copper. So the second thing is exposure to new risky business is decreased. So Adani's flagship company, Adani Enterprises, cancelled a proposed acquisition of Macquarie Group's 2 road assets, which is worth $375 million. And Adani Power calls off 7,000 crore deal to acquire DB Power assets. As they are avoiding new risky business chances, there is no need of pledging more shares and bringing new investments. So they can put more focus on well-paying business and high-end markets. So now, this is how Adani made their comeback. So now Adani became India's fastest growing corporate catering to billion aspirations. This is how Adani come back. Paying off their debt before the scheduled date, unpledging of the shares, focusing on core business, onboarding big investors for credibility, slowing down debt-backed expansion. So the lessons that we are going to learn from Adani's comeback is play your cards at the right time. Build a very good business relationship with people that they can support you even in your bad times. Try to build a relationship from the outline of your business. See, in this case, Adani brought investments from Qatar and Abu Dhabi as they had very good relationships. If world throws something at you, take it and build a shield like Adani did after Hindenburg report.